Here we are in Chapter 5 review exercises numbers 40 through 48. They are all solving by factoring. So solving refresher, we will first get everything equal to 0. Most of them are there, a couple are not. Then we factor, because multiplying to 0 is the easiest thing in the world. Then each of those pieces has to equal 0, and we have our answers. All right, so number 40, let's get it equal to 0. So we have x squared, subtract the x over, and we're minus x minus 12 equals 0, because we've got to get it equal to 0. Then we factor. This is leading coefficient 1, so it's a fast one. X and an x, what times to a negative 12, that's a 1 and a 12, or a 2 and a 6, or a 3 and a 4, that adds to a negative 1, that's minus 4, and a plus 3. So now we've got it factored, each piece equals 0, and we get x minus 4 equals 0, so x equals 4. X plus 3 equals 0 would give us x equals a negative 3. And you can actually stick those into the original equation and they will come out to be absolutely true. Negative 3 and 4 are the answers. Number 41. It's equal to 0. Good. It's factoring. This is a difference of perfect squares. So we have x plus 12 and x minus 12 equals 0. I like difference of squares. That's nice. So we get x equals a negative 12. If you set that equal to 0, add the 12 over, or set that equal to 0, we get x equals positive 12. So a plus and a minus 12 are the answers there. Number 42. Get it equal to 0 first. So 6x cubed minus 24x equals a 0. Good. Now we can factor it. Do we have a greatest common factor? We do. 6x comes out, and we're left with x squared minus 4. This is a difference of perfect squares, so we'll go even further, and this will be 6x times x minus 2 times x plus 2 equals 0. Notice we have three pieces to set equal to 0. This gives us x equals a negative 2. This gives us x equals a positive 2. And this one right here, if we let 6x equal 0, that does give us an answer of x equals 0. Divide both sides by 6. So there are three answers: 0, negative 2, and 2. Excellent. Number 43. Got to get it equal to 0, so add the 12x over. We have x cubed plus 7x squared plus 12x equals 0. Yes, indeed. Take the x out, and we have x squared plus 7 plus 12. Oh, that's an x equals 0. Good. And now, let me see, x squared plus 7. Oh, this is a leading coefficient 1. This is a nice fast one. What times to 12 and adds to 7? Let's look at this 12 up here. 3 and a 4. X plus 3, x plus 4. Don't forget that x out in front. And again, we have three pieces. We get x equals 0 as an answer, x equals a negative 3 when we do x plus 3 equals 0, and then x equals a negative 4. 0, negative 3, and negative 4. Again, three answers. All right, number 44. 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 6x. We got it equal to 0. Check. Step 1 is done. Now let's factor. Is there anything common? It looks like a 2 and an x can come out. And we're left with 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay. This can factor, let me see, leading coefficient is not 1, so we have to do the AC method. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. And we either have a 1 and a 6 or a 2 and a 3 that add to 5. Now this is negative, so we have to be careful. If we were to do a negative 2 and a negative 3, no, positive 2 and positive 3 to add to a positive 5, it doesn't multiply to negative 6, so that one won't work. We need to do a positive 6 and a negative 1. This is 2x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 3. Chainsaw, now we have four terms. So we take out a 2x, x plus 3, and we take out a negative, take out a negative 1, and we're left with x plus 3. So we're left with 2x minus 1, x plus 3, and don't forget this 2x is way out here at the very beginning, equals 0. All right, so our three answers are, this one's nice, equals a negative 3. This one I'm going to work out to make sure we get it all right. 2x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1, you get 2x equals 1. X equals 1/2. And then the last one, where 2x equals 0, gives us x equals 0. So we have x equals 0, x equals 1/2, and x equals -3. Right on. All right, number 45. How about this one? Let me see. Do we have it equal to 0? Yes. Can we pull out a greatest common factor? Notice if you jump down to, this is an AC method, you'll get big numbers, but if you pull out that greatest common factor first, you get x squared minus 6x minus 27. Turns out to be a much easier problem. This one is a, what times is to 27? That's 9 and 3, and adds to 6. So it's an x minus a 9, x plus a 3. And the 2 sits out front. Now notice we have 3 pieces here, but this x squared, this 2, this tells us how many answers we have, the degree of the polynomial. And here we have x equals a -3, x equals a +9. When you say 2 equals 0, you don't get an answer out of that one. So it really does only have 2 answers. Unlike this one, where it was a 2x or an x out in front, if there's a variable out there, it gives you a solution. But here there are only 2 answers. Okay, so number 46. 116. Those are perfect squares. But wait, is there a greatest common factor? There is. 4, 8. Nope, 8 doesn't go into that. 4, it looks like. Pull the 4 out front, and we're left with 25x squared plus 20x plus a 4. And, 25 is a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square still, so we can try that and see if it's 5x plus 2 squared. We just need to double check the middle term. Is 5x times 2 is 10x doubled? Does that fit the pattern of a perfect square? It does. That's nice. And you can try that by multiplying it back out. But yeah, if you have perfect squares, give it a shot in the dark and see if the middle term comes out right. And yeah, we got 10x and 10x give us 20x. All right, we're equal to 0. So 5x plus 2 equals 0 will give us 5x equals a -2. X equals a -2/5 will happen twice. And then 4 equals 0 doesn't give us anything. That doesn't even make any sense. So -2/5 is our answer, but it happens kind of like double as often. All right, number 47. Number 47, x squared minus 64 equals 0. We're equal to 0, so we can start factoring. This is a difference of perfect squares, so we get x minus 8, x plus 8 equals 0. So we get x equals 8 and x equals a -8. Oh, I like those. Those are nice when they're fast like that. And so the last one, this one looks kind of big and ugly. Okay, so we're equal to 0. Check. That's the first thing we need to worry about. Can we pull out a greatest common factor? Yeah, 2 certainly. 4 and an x. Let's do a 4x. I think will get us there. 6x squared minus 11x plus a 4. Yeah, equals 0. Good. What's left? We're going to have to use the AC method. So 6 times 4 is 24. That factors into a 1 and 24, or a 2 and a 12, or a 3 and an 8, or a 4 and a 6. And what adds to a -11? It looks like those guys right there, -8 and -3. So this is 6x squared minus 3x minus 8x plus a 4. Chainsaw. So we get 3x, 2x minus 1. Take out a -4 and we get a 2x minus 1. And then take the 2x minus 1 out. And we're left with 3x from there and minus 4 from there. And then the 4x is out front. Okay, that was factoring. Now each piece equals 0. So 4x equals 0 will give us x equals 0. 2x minus 1 equals 0. You'll add the 1 over and then divide by 2. We get x equals 1/2. And if 3x minus 4 equals 0, we add the 4 over and we get 3x equals 4. So x equals a 4 thirds. So we get 4 thirds, 1/2, and 0. Excellent.